Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is where we discuss and share with you all the latest updates from the stock market move, from the benchmark index moves to sectoral indices and all the stocks that are buzzing the most in trade. We'll also get you expert views as to how should you be really approaching the markets as we speak. But first up, a quick check on how the markets are trading as of now. The bulls seem to have regained control on the D Street. Look at the sharp moves that we've been continuing from last week after a truncated week of action. We've seen that the markets are up at 18,152 for the Nifty, 87 points of an uptick of about half odd percent of a jump for that one. The Sensex moving in tandem, 280 points up in trade, 61,398. The current level of the benchmark index as well. In terms of the top gainers on the markets, you are seeing a whole host of movers like the Maruti, all of these movers up in the green. Talk about the losers, however, there are far and few between, but you do see some pharma stocks really dragging. Sun Pharma seeing some profits being taken off the table. Apart from that, you have Kotak Mahindra Bank, Ultratech Cement after the earnings, Tata Motors and Hero MotoCorp seeing slight declines as far as the markets are concerned as of now. Now, when we also see some of the other sectoral action in today's trading action, barring slight losses, perhaps in say FMCG, Pharma, the healthcare index, rest all of the sectors of the Nifty are actually up in the green, with sharp moves being seen on the Nifty Bank. That's up by half odd percent today, and led by contribution from all across financial services. You have PSU banks that's up in trade, the private banks up in trade as well, the realty pack slightly up in trade. IT stocks, in fact, up by over 1% in today's trading action, and the metals are leading the pack with 1.5% move on the upside. But let's welcome our guest on the show. Mr. Vinit Bolinjkar joins in from Ventura Securities, Head of Research for Equities. Welcome, sir, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. Your thoughts on the kind of move that we've been seeing on the markets? Seems like we are on a stronger footing. Are we likely to see this momentum sustain, or are we going to see some roadblocks yet again?
So, if you see the mother market, that is the US market, which is experiencing strong resilience in spite of all the negative commentary around de-dollarization, inflation, recessionary pressures. So, somewhere we have discounted all of the negatives. And if you also take the Ukraine-Russia war into perspective, it's very evident that Russia has currently the upper hand. So, the market is building all this in. And, we are on the anvil of the final rate hike as we expect. And beyond that, we expect the inflation to significantly fall off, right? So, giving these things in mind, the market is discounting the likely scenario. And we expect that, there could be a possible 150 to 200 point pullback in the Nifty. But beyond that, I think we will be scaling up to challenge the previous highs and also probably going beyond that. My reckoning is that we could see, we could expect a 10% upside in the Dow and S&P, and with Indian markets the way they are present, we expect them to significantly outperform those. And you
jump in its Q4 profit, and the company has posted 507 crores of profit this time around. NDTV, however, has seen a net profit plunge of 98% to 59 lakh rupees right there. So one positive and one negative. We did see Adani Green really jump up to upper circuit right at the opening trades today. It's come off those levels, but it's still up about 3.2% up in trade at 981 rupees per share. Of course, the group has had a tough period and has gone through sharp sell-off as well post the Hindenburg research report. But after that, we're seeing that, of course, there's been a recovery as well from the lows as well. And now the Q4 earnings are coming back into focus. Your own thoughts on how important will Q4 earnings for these companies will be concerned? This week alone, we are going to see 4 more companies really report earnings from the Adani Group basket: Adani Total Gas, Adani Wilmar, Adani Enterprises, Ambuja Cements. All of them will be reporting their earnings as well. I'll come to Adani Green also, but overall, how crucial will be Q4 earnings at this point in time after we've seen the whole period of turmoil for the Adani Group now?
So, if we were to initially talk about Adani Wilmar, which is a JV between Adani and the Wilmar Group, which is not impacted much by the, funding squeeze that has happened at the other ventures. Okay, So Adani Wilmar has its own growth trajectory, and we believe that this stock uh, can outperform from here going ahead, because being in the agri space, being connected with a global Wilmar group, which has got a very strong global presence, provides it with unparalleled market intelligence.
Yeah.
And they're in the sweet spot in the Indian markets with the largest production capacities. So we believe that Adani Wilmar is a strong buy irrespective of how the overall Adani pack performs. Now, if we
Okay.
were to come back to the other Adani group, which are the infrastructure plays,
Yeah.
here as we get into Q4, what is important to look at is what is the commentary that comes out from the management in terms of consolidation. How well do they manage their finances, because there's a very funding squeeze. And third thing is, what is the kind of guidance that they give.
Yeah.
Obviously, at current levels, whatever we saw a few months back, from there the markets have rebounded. But we believe that, if I were to take each stock specifically, I think, in our opinion, Adani Enterprises will have a fair value of about 22 to 2300.
Okay.
Uh, I'll give you the uh, explanation for that, the rationale for that. Is that, minus the hydrogen business, we believe that the entire portfolio is worth about 300,000 rupees per share on an SOTP basis. And
Okay.
if you were to give it a whole core discount of about 30%, that is how we come to that value. 25%, that is how we come to that value between 22 to 2300. So we continue to remain positive on this space on Adani Enterprises. However, Adani Enterprise, for its next leg of growth, needs growth capital, and that can come about only after the clearance comes from the Supreme Court appointed committee. Unfortunately, what has happened is that the Supreme Court appointed SIT has asked for a 6-month extension.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there is going to be a time lag going ahead. But what is going to happen during the time lag is we are going to see further consolidation in terms of the debt profile of the company. They will be repaying a lot of debt, and this will overall bolster the uh, overall health of the balance sheet.
Okay.
Coming to the other company, which is Adani uh, Ports, I think this is one single stock which will see a lot of growth going ahead. Prior to the Hindenburg debacle,
Yeah.
we were expecting an FY25 target of around 15 to 1600.
Okay.
Okay, that kind of growth potential is still very much on, in spite of all the the brouhaha around the stock, given the
Okay.
fact that most of the capex has already been done. Okay, they have another 20,000 crores of capex. Even if you pull that back a bit and you discount that number a little ahead, I
Sure.
think doubling from these levels over the next 3 years is not impossible for this stock. It's a
Okay.
very intrinsic to India's growth story, especially the export aspirations of the country. And we believe that the current dividend yield play which is there also portends for having a small exposure to this stock even under these uncertain circumstances. If you were to talk about Adani Total,
Yeah.
if you look at the CGD gas, and Adani Total has been missing out on their milestones that they have committed in the 9th, 10th, and 11th rounds. But even after taking that into consideration, we believe that the stock is extremely undervalued at these current levels. And once the mojo comes back, this stock can fiercely re-rate, upwards of 14, 1500. So we remain strong buyers of this stock. If we come to Adani Transmission,
Yeah.
again, we are extremely optimistic about this business. Uh, the transmission business is very intrinsic to India's ambitions of, doubling their power generation capacity from about 400 to 900 gigawatts. And with bulk of it coming through renewable energies, which require absolutely fresh investments, right?
Sure.
It means that the this thing is going to be good. However, this company, again, just like Adani Enterprises, suffers from the denial of growth capital. So once this report is out and the clean sheet is given, then we can expect the growth capital to come back and this story to play out. And finally,
Okay.
if we were to talk about Adani Green, Adani Green is a highly leveraged company because they are infrastructure assets with a 25-year cash flow, which is absolutely locked in. It's a locked in growth. However, they need to build their capacity. So the growth of Adani Green can only come when they expand capacities. And so we will not be advising investors to get into this stock until and
Okay.
unless they are able to get their growth capital back. So these are
Okay.
our stocks under coverage. We don't have coverage on Adani Power, and I will refrain from commenting on that.
Okay. In terms of pecking order, you did say that you're positive on most of the stocks from the Adani Group's basket as well. We've also seen, LIC really betting big amid all this sell-off. We've seen retail investors really buying big. 8 of the 10 companies, they've actually raised their holdings up until March quarter as well. Your own thoughts in terms of the pecking order that you would prefer top 3 stocks of the Adani Group?
So the first one is obviously Adani Ports, followed by Adani Total. Uh, the third one is Adani Wilmar. Fourth would be Adani Enterprises, and fifth would be Adani Transmission.
Okay. And what, in terms of strategies that you would advise investors to do, since we've already seen a recovery also from the lowest levels as well, how long will it really take for most of these Adani Group stocks to actually regain the valuation they commanded before the Hindenburg research report? And what should be the ideal strategy if they were to approach some of the top stocks that you've discussed?
So as I said earlier, couple of stocks which definitely are deep value is Adani Ports. Adani Wilmar is a momentum play, and Adani Total is another deep value investment. So these three businesses, one can look to invest in, but the harvesting period is going to be until the SEBI report is out,
Yeah.
right? We do not expect firecrackers to happen in these stocks until that is out.
Okay.
However, a company can spin a rabbit out of a hat and drop leverage significantly, then that is completely a blue sky scenario which is not factored into price. If we were come to the other stocks, Adani Enterprises is definitely a good story to buy into, but without the hydrogen play, I think the mojo out of the stock is just of a market performance. And finally, when we come to Adani Green, as I told you, the requirement of growth capital is the most essential because its valuations are going to derive from capacity expansions, and hence we continue to have a wait and watch on the stock.
Sure, sure. We'll do that. Well, thank you so much, Vinit, for being with us on the show and discussing all these insights about how does one really go through the kind of reports that are coming about, the earnings that are coming about from the Adani Group, and what should be the strategy post these earnings as well. Adani Green, you definitely mentioned, despite a fourfold increase at this point in time, what's important to see is how soon are they going to get the capacities built. So it's not the right time for you to jump into Adani Green. However, you are positive on Adani Ports, on Adani Total Gas, Wilmar, and Enterprises as some of the top picks from the Adani basket from your portfolio as well. Thank you so much, Vinit, for being with us and sharing with us all those insights and with all our viewers as well. The markets as we speak are still hovering higher, about half odd percent, 90 points of a jump for the Nifty 50, 18,155, and the Sensex moving up by 290 odd points at this point in time. We'll continue to keep a watch on how the markets move from here on in the second half of trading action. And apart from the Adani Group as well, which are the other pockets that you should be focusing on? We'll continue to get to you all the coverage from the world of stock markets. So do stay tuned on to Business Today TV. And you can continue to engage with us on our social media platforms as well. That's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Until then, thanks for tuning in. not uncommon to find someone pitching an investment cum life insurance product to you. Have you ever wondered if it really offers you the best of both the worlds or if it works otherwise? A life insurance policy is meant to be a financial protection tool to protect an individual or a family in case of loss of an earning member. However, this protection only has a limited role to play. A larger goal of life should be to earn, save and invest well so that you can fulfill all your life goals in the best possible manner and live long enough to reap the rewards of the hard work that you do. Many people find life insurance products attractive only when they are offered with some kind of return. As a result, they often end up buying a product that neither gives them adequate life insurance protection nor do they get the best investment option. Now, experts believe investment cum insurance products often have high fees and commissions, which are limited investment options and also lack transparency, and therefore it is generally better for